Hello and welcome, everybody. It's Tuesday. It's Healing Through Love show, and ordinarily there's two of us, but Rose is not here today. Unfortunately, she's not feeling 100%. So I'm going to be Charlene and I'm going to be Rose. Welcome to the Healing Through Love show. We are here as a social enterprise whose vision is to shift awareness on domestic and family violence within the community and to support survivors. Our mission is to provide family and domestic violence survivors with a soft place to land by offering advice and services available to them and their families. Now, Rose would normally share with you that as well as this show that we have to support the people that support us on our endeavours, we also host annual Pamper Days. And these look like a group of businesses getting together, supporting women who are going through the process, either in the middle of or out the other side of shifting through domestic and family violence. Now, we also have one starting up in New Zealand, in Tasmania as well. Oh, maybe that's a Freudian slip. Maybe we could be moving to New Zealand sooner than we think. So each week we have a show where we interview experts and survivors who share their personal stories and offer advice on how to move through this challenging part of your life. Now, today we've got a very, very special guest, and I'll be chatting with her for quite some time today. And then at the end, I'll jump back on just to have a conversation around those of you, if this has touched your lives, then perhaps maybe you're in a position to pay it forward and make a difference for others. Now, today we've got a very, very special guest that I'd love to introduce her. She's in the green room. She'll be popping on with us just shortly. Our special guest today is Suze. Suze is what I call her, but her name is actually Sue Zaki-Leung. She is a break-free mentor, a transformational speaker, a subconscious healing specialist. Knowing you always have a choice, no matter what the circumstances are, this is her motto. And she not only teaches this, she also has lived through it. Disowned by her family at the age of 8 months, walked through different kinds of bullying, emotional abuse, and family violence with a strong belief that life can be more. At the age of 13, she made her choice and reclaimed her power one step at a time. She loves to dance barefoot on the Middle Eastern beat and connect to Mother Earth. And this is one of her most important things she does as part of her self-care routine. Welcome to the Healing Through Love show. Hi, Suze. How are you?
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Charlene. I'm great. How are you?
I'm magnificently magnificent. It's a beautiful 21 degrees here today. And I heard a rumor in Adelaide it's going to get to 31 tomorrow. So like a little bit of a prelude to the kiss of spring. So because I think today is the last day of winter. So the last hurrah. I'm very excited. So Suze, look, what a fascinating story at 8 months and then at 13 years to make that choice to move forward. Could you elaborate a little bit on your story?
Yeah, absolutely. Try to condense my past 34 years journey. I start with a little bit of myself. I was born in a quite challenging circumstances. I was conceived from a one-night stand. By 8 months old, I was delivered to my auntie friend's house in Hong Kong to care for. My parents started fading out and got entirely disappeared while I was 5 years old. And my nanny, which is my auntie's friend, became my unlawful step parents in Hong Kong. And growing up, I looked so much different than the other kids. I was always taller, I was darker, and my hair. And I also experienced different levels of bullying at school. And I was always confused and felt I must done something wrong to be abandoned by my parents. And also, I remember when I was a kid, I was getting so close to get to sent to Oven House, and I couldn't apply high school because I basically doesn't have an identity. And at 12 years old, I finally get to stay with my step family. They become my temporary guardians, but everything's starting to change 2 years later. My birth mom shows up, and I remember that was 2013, and was the same year when we have SARS in Hong Kong, And also, my stepmom was battling her terminal cancer in ICU. And moms want to take guardianship of me, and agreement was made to stay with her from time to time and try to rebuild the relationship. Then, but the time while I was staying with her, I was get isolated. I was exposed to different substance abuse, emotion and verbal abuse. And she also approached my step family, extorts and demands payment for the period that I stay with them. Try to get money out of it, like I was has been rent out, or even is a product or service that need to be paid for. That time, I felt I wasn't a human. And I remember I was only 12, 13 that time. My head went blank and I feel I've been sucked in a very dark place, paired with anxious, and my body was aching the whole time. My chest was tightness. And I want to end this by ending myself. The last straw was I've been told I couldn't attend to my stepmom's funeral, mixed with different anger and sadness. And I completely shut down myself that time. But I remember there was this voice inside me was screaming and telling me that life is actually more than this. And slowly that anger becomes my drive and my motivation. And I know I don't want to be like that anymore. I know I want to do something about it. So that moment, I made a choice for myself. I go up to my mom and say, "Look, thank you, but I think this have to be end. I can't live like this anymore. And this let's just put an end to our relationship." And then the rest is history. And from 13, I get on the journey for self discovery, healing, and finding my value and worth. And let me become who I am today. And now it's my time to give back to the community.
That's fantastic. Wow, what a journey that you've been on. And so you've made a choice at 13. That's a really young age to have been able to understand that you needed to make that decision to effectively divorce, really. Is that the word terminology we use? Like divorce your mother
Yeah.
so that you can choose your own life at 13? That must have been very challenging.
That was it was only teenage, just get into the world, get on high school, and basically don't know what's happening next. It's feel of uncertainty that time.
Now, I've got to ask, so clearly English is not your first language. So what other languages do you speak?
Cantonese is my main language, but I also very interested in learning different culture and language. So I speak Mandarin, Cantonese, English, and I also learn Spanish, Thai, and Arabic.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. That's very makes you very multicultural. So can I ask what the nationality of your mother and father were? Were they both from Hong Kong?
My father was half Egypt. My father was Egyptian, and my mom is Taiwan Hong Kongese. So I would say from Hong Kong as well. And I born in Japan. They were traveling and also working that time there.
Wow. Okay. So that's fascinating. So you really have a really good grasp on the whole multicultural. You're not only living it, that's a part of the family history as well. So
Yeah.
you've gone through quite a change at 13 to move forward. And now at 34, you've been able to implement these decisions, these choices that you've made moving forward. And that's brought you to where you are now as a specialist in subconscious healing. So could you maybe share with us a little bit about, your own process and how you shared that process with the people that you help heal?
Yes, absolutely. I remember that time. There's three main components. First is I gained my awareness, and second is obviously I have a desire to make that choice and do something different. And the third is I shout out and ask for help when I need it, to friends or to some of the mentor. And I actually bring this to my clinic now as a process to help people, holding their hand and facilitate them through the process as well. By choice, CHOICE, I break it down first is we have to connect within. We have to know what's going on internal and check in and feel our emotion, knowing what we are feeling that time. And the H stands for healing. Because I understand, I've been there, that our past can leave a deep scar in our subconscious. And that scar might be stopping us to moving forward. And as a holistic approach to no matter it's mentally healing, well-being healing, and also physical, is a holistic approach to help people move forward. And the third is the always optimistic. Acknowledge that the past is one of your lesson, is valuable lesson, and build up a positive attitude towards the future. And the I was irreplaceable. We have to understand there's only one you in here. And you are special. You are unique. And by finding our self worth and value, knowing that you're all here with a purpose and no one can replace you. And compassion is to say, and be kind, to gentle to ourselves and to the world, and stop the self sabotage and change the beliefs, those beliefs that limit you, to claim the power to control and take charge of your future. And the last is the E, is the energy. I remember when I was on my journey, of course, sometimes we feel defeated. We think that, oh, can I do this? Can I not? And I find out having a good vibe and maintain a right energy level physically and mentally is very important. And this is the whole few things that I help with my the clients or people that come and seek help from me, that I facilitate them.
That's fantastic. So how does someone, like, how do they know that they need to come see you? Like, what situation are they in that they need to come and see you?
They have two different types. So some people, they might feel something not right. So they wasn't know what it is. They just know that they might be couldn't sleep. They might be feeling torn inside. It's like two energy pulling, and they feel frustration. This one type. And the second type is they know something was happened in the past and they can see the patterns. They might be getting to the wrong people again. They might be having some, they don't believe in themselves, self-destructive behavior. And when they come to me, so I break down to them, it's like, okay, what's happening before? Of course, then sometimes that we don't intentionally know what's happening. So that's why getting into subconscious is very important to getting into root cause.
Excellent. That's fantastic. So what sort of outcomes can we expect when we work with you then, Sue?
They feel lighter. This is so often people describe, oh, I feel lighter. And secondly, they find a peace within themselves. This is very important as well. And also they knowing they're here for a reason. They know their self-worth and value. They know they're not less than everybody else. And also they knowing that, wow, now I get the power, I can go rock and roll, rock the world.
I love it. I love it. That's fantastic. Okay, so if someone's not feeling, they don't even know what's wrong, they're just not feeling that connection, or they've got a particular issue that they want to resolve, would they have maybe tried other healing modalities before they get to you, or are you sort of the first port of call?
Um, I think they have different people. For me, I can give some tips here. First of all, is meditate is a very good start. I remember I discovered meditate before I actually know what is meditation. So that time when I shut down, I was spent a lot of time by myself. And I went to the park or went to the beach. I sit down and I start having the internal dialogue, the saying, "Oh, why? Like, what can I do? What's happening?" What's happening wasn't mean that we put ourselves in, oh my god, the world is gonna end. That's that no, but it's seeing as the other perspective, seeing it higher perspective. And so I get so much wisdom, and those wisdom letting me through the other step forward.
Mm. Yes, I can see, I can see. Now, I understand that you've written a book, and is this book on the entire process, or is it just on a specific part of what it is that you share?
Yes, I've been always thinking, like what we discussed before, that energy is a very huge component when we facing change or tackling different changes in the future. So this year I decided, okay, I have to write down all the tips that or what the things that I discover along the journey that can help me maintain the good vibe and also a good energy level, because energy is very very important. It's like a drive or like a fuel to bring us forward and keep me moving. So it's the book that's called 88 Tips of High Vibe.
Oh, I love that.
And yay.
That's fantastic. Now, I understand today that you are in a position to share that with our listeners.
Yep, sorry, I lost that. What you say?
Oh, so I understand that you're in a position to share that with our listeners.
Yes, yes, yes. So what I'm planning to do is, for all the audience in the show, they can feel free to send me an email, and also I also encourage, if my message land to your heart, if you think that you want to make some choice and make some different as well, I'm offering discovery call. So we have the link down below. I saw that connect with Sue, that you guys can connect there with me, book in a call with me. Then we have a heart to heart chat. And also by the end of the call, I will also give you that book. Then just help you to keep high vibe and good energy in your life.
Excellent. So, just for clarity, so for the listeners here today, if you're
Mm,
feeling that level of connection with Sue and and that story resonates with you, if there's an aspect of your life that maybe you don't even know what's wrong with you need to lean in and make some choices so that you can live a different life. Then connect with Sue. Now you can do that via email, and she'll share with you the book 88 Choices to High Vibe. Yes, and if you decide to book a clarity call with her to see how you might work together moving forward, then she'll also offer you that book 88 tips to high vibe. Is that right?
yeah. Yes, absolutely. And I also, the email you can send it to me is info at tricenic-hypno.com.
Oh,
So can I
excellent.
spell it out?
Yeah, I think Rose is going to pop that in the comments and also the description of the show. And
Awesome.
but I think I can see it running across the screen as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, so look at that. Rose is, even though she's not here, she's behind the scenes making sure everything happens. Thanks, Rose. She's producing today's show. Wow. So, I recently worked with you at Speakers Institute, where you've come through and mastering the art of communication. And how are you finding this ability now to be able to share your story with people?
It's given me so much confidence. And I never thought I would be able to share the story. But I know that in the heart, the story is very important, is letting others know that they were not alone. And this is a drive for me. And thank you for Speaker Institute as well, that trained me and helped me through and articulate, and so that I can hear to share today.
Yeah, so it's so true, you know. We speak to so many people who are doing wonderful things in the world, and they're like the best kept secret because they're not speaking. Now, the difference when you're speaking, not only does it fill you with confidence, but it also then opens those beautiful conversations with your could-be client base, and they get to know you on a much more personal, much more vulnerable level. So it is
Yeah.
fantastic. Also, it facilitates things like this, is jumping on a podcast and having an interview. And unless you're at that level where you feel comfortable to tell your story, then yeah, it really does limit your options for bringing in new clients. And also, just, I really do believe, Sue, and I know that you believe the same thing, is that sharing your story, even just sharing your story, helps others heal.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
And this is probably one of the experience I had before when I first come to Australia, that I share my story to a teenage and basically motivate her and change her, because that time she was actually wanting to end her life. And that moment I'm like, wow, I was actually impacting someone. So that's also helps me and push me to get on this journey and to shine the world.
And I love the fact that you are, and I want to get the wording right, that you are a specialist in subconscious healing. So, a subconscious healing specialist. So, do you believe that's at the core of the where how we get ourselves and how we keep ourselves in those patterns?
Yeah, I always use the metaphor is the subconscious mind remembers everything. So our conscious memory can only remember this much, but actually 95% how our body function is rolled by the subconscious mind. And it's just like you take out your phone, it's taking a screenshot. And every second the subconscious is taking screenshot. So when we feel something or when we experience something that strong and have so much emotion in it, the subconscious remembers it.
It's so true. And even though we might forget the parts of the story, those frequencies, those neurons that are wired together still hold us in those disturbing patterns and not allowing us to move forward. So it's very important to be able to get to a place in your life where you can have those subconscious conversations and bring that level of awareness to those understandings. So if you can shine a light on it, you can heal it. If you
Yeah.
live in a space of denial, nothing's going to change. And that's
Yeah.
why working with Sue really does help shine the light on those patterns of behavior that are holding you in those limiting beliefs. Isn't that true, Sue?
Yeah, and also bring the awareness to from subconscious to the conscious.
So that you can understand that you are designed to self-heal and that you can actually see those patterns of behavior. And once you've got that level of awareness, you can change something. You can make those choices to live a different life once you have those levels of awareness. And that starts, as Sue said, with some meditation, with some quiet time, and working with yourself, and then being guided by a professional such as Sue, so that you can come out of those murky grayness, that mud that we live in, and see the light and move forward and come out the other end of the tunnel. Isn't that right, Sue?
Yes, and don't forget we all have so much wisdom within ourselves. Yet you
Mm.
have all the wisdom that you actually need.
It's true. We are designed this way. It's so exciting. And when we get to realize that, it changes everything, because then we have a new level of understanding, a new level of responsibility, and a new level of ownership for our behaviors, our thought processes, our language, and everything else in between. And it helps us then propel us forward so that we can grow and expand, and then obviously help others as well, just by our own expansion. So yeah, very excited to be on this journey of life with you, Sue. And it's no coincidence that we're on the planet at the same time.
I know, I know.
It's so exciting. I get the privilege and the pleasure of working with Sue on other projects, helping other people share their stories so that they can step into the light. So it's exciting to work with you, Sue. So, Sue,
Thank
thank you so much for everything today and sharing your beautiful personal story. And I know that will resonate with quite a few of our listeners. And understanding that choice is your superpower, and that you can use this to move forward. And I would strongly suggest you book this opportunity with Sue to have that 30-minute conversation. It's free, and you also get a copy of the 88 tips. And if you're not ready to speak, that's okay. You can still reach out via email and get the 88 tips to help you move forward.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sue. So thank you so much for spending quality time with us today. Sue, was there any last words?
Remember, you always got a choice.
I love that, Sue. Thank you so much for sharing. Bye for now, Sue.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sue. Wow, guys, another amazing lunchtime conversation with a beautiful lady who's made a choice and is living a different life. She's vibrating at a different frequency, and not only has she helped herself as she's reached out, she's become a professional in her own right and is now helping others in that same area. Guys, this is powerful stuff. Next week, we've got another amazing guest for our lunchtime break that only goes for 30 minutes, but I do want to remind you, if you have been touched or for one reason or another, really sharing and making a difference for people who are survivors. If this is important to you, we would love to have you come along as one of our exhibitors here in Adelaide for the next Healing Through Love Pamper Day. Now that's going to be May in 2022. Oh my gosh, that's not that long time. That's not long away, and we will have a new home here in Adelaide. We'll have a total of between 25 and 30 exhibitors. It's really going to depend on the number of rooms that we get. Each room will have its own theme. So there might be healing in one room, there might be meditation in another room, there might be physical movement in another room. Another room might have skincare, makeup, hair care. So each room will have its own activities. You'll go there, you'll be pampered. So it's like a day spa on steroids. It's all free. And hopefully this year again, we can have an op shop where you can go shopping. So now this is what's afforded to the people who are survivors and going through the challenges. The exhibitors, we would love it if you can donate some time. If it can't be a whole day, maybe it can be half a day, to make a difference to these women who are doing it hard. These women who have lost the ability to believe in themselves. These women who it only takes one kind word and one smile to make a difference in their lives. And I must share with you guys that at our very first Pamper Day, several of those girls came back the following year as an exhibitor. That's powerful. That's healing. That is healing on another dimension. That's expansive healing. That's healing through love. So if you want to be part of this beautiful process to pay it forward and make a difference for others, we'd love you to reach out to Healing Through Love. Now, our email is running across the bottom of the screen. Thanks. You're so onto this, Rose. So it's hello@HTL, healingthroughloveaustralia.org. And you can also reach out to us via Facebook. So even if you can only help us for a couple of hours, we'd love to have you. And even if you can't physically be there, you might be able to donate products, whether it be clothes, whether it be part of the pamper packs, all of those things as well. Now, in the meantime, we're preparing for our summer session, and that is we're preparing goodies for our Christmas bags. So if you've got excess of things, we're putting them together to get to the ladies. And most of them have children, so kids stuff is good too. And putting those together so we can get those pamper packages to the front line. It's such a privilege and a pleasure to share this space. Now, Rose is not here today to talk to you about what's happening in Tasmania, but she'll be jumping on with us next week. It's been a privilege and a pleasure to share this quality time with you, with Healing Through Love. You've got this. Thank you for staying and listening with us today. Bye for now.